We've got the Jaguar F-PACE, supercharged, turbocharged.
Really nice.
Oh, what
good.
a car.
I will just give you a little snapshot of this whole video. We're very impressed with this thing.
Are we ever?
And under the hood is quite a unique engine. What's under the hood of this thing, Andrea?
A P400 powertrain. It is a 3-liter turbocharged, supercharged 6-cylinder with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. It's matched to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 395 horsepower, and 406 pound-feet of torque. Standard all-wheel drive. Premium fuel is required, and with a full tank of gas, you'll get about 740 kilometers, 460 miles.
Of course, there are other powertrain options. The P250 with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 246 horsepower, and the P550 SVR with a 5-liter V8 and 550 horsepower. I would think a 5-liter V8 in this might be just a little overkill.
Yeah, not necessary.
Or overcompensate. This engine's doing a great job. All right, let's get into what do you get with this F-PACE, the key standard features.
The P400 comes standard with an 11.4-inch touchscreen with Pivi Pro, wireless, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto, digital driver display, Meridian sound system, 12-way heated front seats, driver's seat memory, leather heated sports seats, heated steering wheel, wireless charger, keyless entry, a panoramic sunroof, and a power liftgate. In the US, a heated steering wheel and the digital driver display are not standard.
Very clean dash, but we can still put it in what, Andrea?
You got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, a couple car review twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes and to get a question in. And for me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. And of course, Andrea's been in the F-Type before, but this is really your first time driving it for a full week. Your first thoughts of what it would be like, and then your thoughts of how you like it now you've been driving it.
I didn't think it would be this dynamic. The handling is incredible. It feels like a sports SUV. I think it's terrific. Everything works so well together. The automatic transmission shifts smoothly, and it's got tons of power, especially when you put it in sport mode. You got that growl of the engine. It's very exciting to drive. I'm surprised not more of these are sold.
Well, the thing is, it's got long in the tooth, and when it first came out, they were everywhere. Where we live in Vancouver, there was tons of these sold, and unfortunately, Jag let it rot on the vine, and they didn't update it, and it needed some updates, mostly on the interior. But this latest powertrain and the calibration of the engine and the transmission working together, there's nothing like a really good, powerful engine working like a tango, a really nice dance partner with the transmission, and this has got that covered.
And coming up in Questions, Coffee and Cars, someone asked about the Stelvio and how this compares, so stick around.
But this is a performance-skewed vehicle. It's not mass appeal and traditional luxury. Jag can do that as well, but not in this product. It's really quite performance-oriented. You do feel the road, and it gives amazing feedback, but for someone who lives in a bumpy area, this might not be the right choice.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't eat up those bumps in the road, but if you just want something that's a lot of fun to drive as your daily driver, this is going to be a tough one to beat. I say it's up there with Alfa Romeo, with Porsche Macan. It does a lot so well.
I don't know if you can see in the back there, Andrea.
Yeah.
There's an 800-pound gorilla in the back seat. And that is the big question about reliability. So as good as all of this is, and as much as we have been impressed and enjoying it, we haven't even gotten to the interior yet, and the design of this thing, and the size of this thing, the hangover of Jaguar reliability is real. And it's sitting back there over your shoulder the whole time.
Yeah, it's a shame. I wish it had a better reliability score. It's better than Land Rover, believe it or not, and people are still buying Land Rover models, but I think they just didn't update this model fast enough, and also the fleet has a lot of sedans. I mean, why not come out with even a larger one? People are looking for a mid-size SUV. They just didn't do it, and I think it's a real shame because it's a great product.
So one strong point for Jag is design. They have beautiful looking cars. All of them, I think, look great, and this is a fine looking SUV. When it first came out, it turned a lot of heads. They sold lots of them, and I think today on design it still holds up.
Oh yeah, sporty, sleek, aggressive looking, absolutely gorgeous design. I mean, this is one SUV that I parked and I looked back at and I thought, wow, I really love this. Now this comes standard with an R dynamic design, so you get the R dynamic grille, and then we also have a black exterior package. You've got the black accents throughout the exterior of the vehicle. This is standard in Canada, but available in the US. It also comes standard with LED headlights, LED taillights, power folding exterior mirrors, 19-inch wheels available 20-inch to 22-inch, and a temporary spare tire. And if you want, you can also buy a 19-inch full-size spare tire for your vehicle.
Now the outside and the inside are correlated because this is one of the bigger vehicles in this class. We'll show you the back seat in a moment. Looking at the front, this has finally been updated, and the thing is they put in high-grade materials. Even the bottom of the door cards is nicely done. When this first came out, it was filled with a lot. It was plastic fantastic, and now they've gone the other way. This rivals what you get in a Range Rover for materials. The leather, it's really well done.
Yeah, it has a real modern look to it. And the only thing that I would say that I'm missing in here is there's slight lack of storage. This is pretty small. The door pockets
Get a little
are small.
space under here.
Yeah, there is a little space under the floating center console that you can put a few things in, but I find it a little bit hard to see what's under there. Also, these performance seats that we have on our test model, the back is quite firm, so I'd like to try the standard sport seats.
Okay, so these look really cool. For me, I have a bad back, so I appreciate the quite firm back to this. Others will not like it at all. Our biggest complaint about this vehicle on the inside is the heated seats, with these seats anyway, are pathetic, and the heated steering wheel didn't get warm for 10 minutes. Now 10 minutes. Now the whole thing about heated seats and a heated steering wheel is they're supposed to get warm before the rest of the cabin. You can wait for the cabin to heat up because your backside's warm and your hands are warm. Not the case with this. Pathetic, really.
So this is heated all around, and my heated seat is feeling quite warm now, but I have it on full blast, and we have been driving the vehicle for 45 minutes, and Zach's right, it took a long time for it to heat up, so that is a disappointment. I also put on the ventilated front seats just to see what they were like, and it just kind of feels like blowing cold air, but it never really got super cold.
That's exactly what it is. We're blowing cold air on your ass, Andrea. That's what ventilated seats are.
We have the GLE this week, the 450e from Mercedes-Benz, and those seats get hot.
Yeah.
And the ventilated seats get cold, and I don't necessarily feel like it's just blowing cold air. It just gets cold. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, so the seats are a win for design. They're a fail when it comes to the heating part of it. All right, so the screen in the center is nicely integrated. I know it looks like a screen stuck on the dash, but it's quite elegant. The controls for the HVAC system, takes a little while to learn it. Once you learn it, really simple, and very clean interior. The head unit, there's a learning curve with that. Now, you had a bit of a struggle pairing your phone.
Yeah, it took a little while to get the wireless Android Auto going. Some people complain that this system, PIVI Pro, is a bit glitchy. That was the only issue that I had with it. Otherwise, it was absolutely fine. This is an 11.6-inch touchscreen. There's also an available 12.3-inch digital interactive driver display with 3D navigation. We have got an ebony interior. It's a Windsor leather, which is beautiful quality. And there's lots of different color options that you can choose from. I think Jag does a really great job with that.
Now on size, this is bigger than a lot of its competitors. The back seat space is ample, good legroom, good headroom. This is a roomy back seat.
Comparing the space of the F-PACE to the BMW X3, the Jaguar offers 40.3 inches of front row legroom, which is the same as the BMW. Second row legroom at 37.2 inches is almost an inch more than the X3.
Then in the cargo area, this is also large. It's really quite long, and when you lift the floor, would you look at that beauty? A temporary spare tire.
Cargo space behind the second row for the F-PACE is 32.1 cubic feet, and overall cargo space is 70.4 cubic feet, which is bigger than the X3.
I think you guys have caught on that this is a performance SUV.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Is there an interior trim option with the wood Jaguar does so well?
Well, this one has the aluminum trim in it. You know what you could do? You just go to the lumber yard, get a 2x4, sand it down.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of wood. I like the more modern wood that's being offered, which in Canada you can also get. It's more like a dark gray, and it looks sharp.
So he's referring to the old, like the
traditional,
like the XJ. My mom had an XJ6 in Scotland, and it had the big wood classic. That was actually made out of a piece of wood, and it had all the crazing in it. They cracked and crazed, and it was like it was a look for those cars, even though they had the cracking in it. It kind of like it was patina.
I think there was a time that obviously the wood was very popular. You can get wood, but it's not that kind of wood. You can get like a dark brown in the US, and you can get that kind of dark gray. More options in the US than in Canada. What is more fun to drive, this or the Stelvio Quadrifoglio?
They're both, you know what, I would do a three-way kind of, not tie, but they're all slightly different, with Macan, Alpha, Stelvio Quadrifoglio, and this. And then the Macan I would put in there would be the GTS.
And what about the X3 inline 6?
The X3 inline 6, but it's I would say that's just a better engine for everyday use, for just straight out performance. I don't know, those three are kind of like tied for me. In a different way though.
For me, I think that the Stelvio, I love it. I love the Quadrifoglio. It does beat you up a little bit at times. This, less. I mean, this is still extremely dynamic. It's engaging. It's fun.
That one was a little
engine
harsh.
has a roar. Yeah. I say the Stelvio is just a little bit more on all the time than this. This is a really nice balance. I can't believe how much I love this.
And then you throw in Macan, like Macan GTS, and that's a real balance of comfort and performance, and that's the way they calibrated that car. But I would say that I just wish that the brand had better reliability, because this would be an easy vehicle to for us to say, yeah, go get one.
Get one, yeah. If you don't care about reliability.
We do say that about Alpha, though. We love the Stelvio, so we're always talking about Alpha, so maybe we should throw this one in there.
Okay, I want anyone who owns an F-PACE to chime in, type below, let us know if it's been reliable for you. We'll get a good take on people who actually own these vehicles, because Land Rover, they don't have a great reliability record, but people love them and still buy them.
Okay, stick around for Hot Topic just after this. It's all coming up.
The last time I was in one of these, the front seat frame was so wide, a la Durango, that you couldn't rest your knees in the gaps for the B pillar in the center console. Is it still like that if your hubby sits behind himself? I remember driving was fine, but my issue is with legroom and the JLR reliability.
Okay, so he's talking about rear seat, not the front seats.
No.
So I have no issue with the seats. I think that the center console, this part here, does protrude out a little bit.
It does.
It's not critical. You definitely can get comfortable.
I think for someone who's sitting in the middle seat, if you're taking a third passenger often, I don't think that this is a great...
That sucks for any
not a great
vehicle
option.
being in the middle.
This center console goes too far back, and then there's a hump in the middle. It
all
just
like
doesn't
that.
offer that. They aren't all like that.
They are.
They just don't
you get
offer.
In the back
the
seat,
X3 is not like that.
You get in the back of a Macan.
The RDX is not like that in the rear seat. Yes, Macan, okay. GV70,
they're all like that.
Okay, but they're not all like that. So if you are taking a third
Andrea,
passenger,
if this doesn't work for you in the back seat, get something else.
There you go, Zach.
There you go. Mission solved.
Not really, but anyway, we'll move on. Hot topic.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
The two largest luxury franchises in Texas who own JLR dealers are no longer Jaguar Land Rover. Dealers are only going to sell Land Rover. And I heard from someone who works there that they're not alone. Is the brand going away? As such, I don't think my city has a Jaguar dealer anymore.
Well, Jag has made an announcement that they are moving to an all-electric portfolio in the next few years, actually. They're going to relaunch the brand with electrification. So these are the hangover models they're keeping until they get to that point. So I think you're going to see a rebrand, a relaunch, and Andrea has some intel.
Yeah, I mean, these are just rumors. This hasn't been confirmed by Jaguar, but the rumor is that with these EVs, they're going to move more upscale, charge more for them, maybe in line with Bentley. And so they want to separate themselves from Land Rover, which in some ways kind of makes sense why they're starting to split the brands. Is it going to be a super expensive Jaguar model?
All I can say is
a pure electric vehicle. We'll see.
If you come out with a super expensive Jaguar model, then the brand, in my opinion, is dead. I think that's folly. I don't understand. The brand is barely hanging on for its life, and then you're going to do that. I don't get it. I want you to pay attention to the deal you get in the US if you buy one of these. Plus the fuel economy, not so good. Our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. In Canada, the F-PACE P400 starts at just under $76,500, and in the US, just under $65,000.
Here's the fuel economy for this P400. 12.6 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 9.4 on the highway. That's 19 miles per gallon city, 25 miles per gallon highway. This F-PACE R-Dynamic S tows 5,000 pounds, and the warranty is 4 years, 80,000 kilometers, or 60,000 miles. In the United States, you get complimentary scheduled maintenance for 5 years, or 60,000 miles. All right, we came up with 4 SUVs to compete with this. We're going to run through the base engines.
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the BMW X3 with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 248 horsepower, and a starting price just over $56,500.
The Mercedes-Benz GLC with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder and a mild hybrid system, 255 horsepower, and a starting price of just under $59,000.
The Porsche Macan with a 2-liter turbocharged 4, 261 horsepower, and a starting price just over $65,000.
The Genesis GV70 with a 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 300 horsepower, and a starting price of $57,500.
So there are 4 compact luxury SUVs for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improve.
So impressed with the way that this handles. So fun.
The engine's amazing.
What I'd like to try are the sport seats. I'm hoping they'll be a little bit more comfortable.
I want them to improve reliability like yesterday.
Wow, I love this F-PACE. It is just so fun to drive.
All right, we just got to get those quality scores up a little bit, a lot of bit.